Good morning, K3. Happy Monday. I hope you all had a great weekend. I did. Let's get right into it. Let me sing a good morning song with everybody. Let's get started.
Good morning, everyone.
All right. Good morning, everybody. How y'all doing?
Are you ready for a brand new day? Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
How are you?
It's so nice to have you here with me today. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
Just fine.
Howdy, how do you do? Hello, good day. Now that we're together, learning so much fun, the more of us, the better. So come on, everyone. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
Just fine.
Howdy, how do you do? Hello, good day.
Katie, good morning. Seven, good morning. Jules, good morning. Chloe, good morning. Good morning. Giovanni, Lily, good morning. Trinity, good morning. Marvin, good morning. Natalie, good morning. Walter, Kevin, good morning. Sheila, good morning. Benjamin and Jane, good morning. Phoenix and Elias, good morning. Alan and Tyson, good morning. Katie and Samaje, Sylvia,
Good
Sophia,
morning.
and Santiago, good morning.
How are you?
How are you?
It's so nice to have you here with me today. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
Just fine.
Howdy, how do you do? Hello, good day. Now that we're together, learning so much fun, the more of us, the better. So come on, everyone. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
Just fine.
Howdy, how do you do? Hello, good day. Howdy, how do you do? Hello, good day.
Nice, nice. Let's pause that before it goes anywhere else. All right, K3. Every day we do our letter sounds. We do our letter sounds every day because if you don't know your letter sounds, you know nothing. You can't even start to read. Every day we work hard. Stand up. Don't sit down. There's no point in sitting down. All right? Let's do this. Here we go.
The alphabet is filled with consonants and vowels. We write them, we read them, each letter makes a sound. Well, we start with A, B, C, we go all the way to Z. The letters of the alphabet are fun for you and me. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. Now I know my ABCs. Next time, won't you sing with me? We start with ABC and we go all the way to C. Now I know my ABCs. Next time, won't you sing with me? We start with ABC and we go all the way to C. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. Now I know my ABCs. Next time, won't you sing with me? Each letter makes a sound. Let's sound them out now.
Here we
Now I
go.
know my
Let me
ABCs.
hear
Next
these
time,
sounds,
won't you
K3.
sing with me? Each letter makes a sound. Let's sound them out now. Oh. Oh. Now I know my ABCs. Next time, won't you sing with me? We start with ABC and we go all the way to Z. Now I know my ABCs. Next time, won't you sing with me? We start with ABC and we go all the way to Z.
Nice. K3, good. But we would be nowhere without the vowels. Let's get a little vowel song. Here we go. Those vowels, they have two sounds, and every word you ever read has a vowel. Gotta know your vowel sounds. Gotta know them.
A-E-I-O-U. And on his farm he had an A. A-E-I-O-U. With an A here and an there. Here an A, there an everywhere an A. Old MacDonald had a farm. A-E-I-O-U. And on his farm he had an E. A-E-I-O-U. With an E here and an there. Here an E, there an everywhere an E. Old MacDonald had some vowels. A-E-I-O-U. And on his farm he had an I. A-E-I-O-U. With an I here and an I there. Here an I, there an I, everywhere an I. Old MacDonald had some vowels. A-E-I-O-U. And on his farm he had an O. A-E-I-O-U. With an O here and an there. Here an O, there an everywhere an O. Old MacDonald had some vowels. A-E-I-O-U. And on his you. There and everywhere you. Old MacDonald had some vows. A-I-O-U.
Love it, K3. There we go. Let's get right down to it. And we're going to start on our popcorn words. Here we go. The popcorn words are super duper important. You gotta know the popcorn words. They're all over the place.
When you read in newspapers, books, and magazines. Pop up when you read in newspapers, books, and magazines.
Is a he has go she can was play little one you with four yes big no red
Popcorn words, pop,
get up and dance.
Pop up when you read in newspapers, books, and magazines. Pop
Everybody
up
get up.
when you read
Sit
in
still.
newspapers, books, and magazines.
And jump to me have do are look said come here because what where here my who yellow of
Popcorn words, popcorn words, pop up when you read in newspapers, books, and magazines. Pop up when you read in newspapers, books, and magazines.
2 green will blue is a he has go she can was play little one you with four yes big no red and jump to
Popcorn words, popcorn words, pop up when you read in newspapers, books, and magazines. Pop up when you read in newspapers, books, and magazines.
All right. K3, doing good. Here we go.
Good morning,
Not
everyone.
that one, though. Not that one. That's the wrong song.
Are you ready for a
Pay
brand new
attention.
day?
That's the one I want. There we go. Right? Sit down over here. We're going to take a look at the calendar right now while this is playing.
February, March, and April, May, and June, and July, August, September, October, November, December, January, February, March, and April, May, and June, and July, August, September, October, November, December. These are the months of the year. Oh, these are the months of the year. Fill them with joy and with cheer. The months of the year.
Here we go. K3, days of the week. Let's just, not there yet. Not there yet. Not quite. We're going to start off with this. We need to start off with our month. Our month is April, and our saying this month is April showers bring May flowers. My lemons in my front yard are getting really big. And down the street, there's the biggest grapefruits in a grapefruit tree. Thanks to those showers we had in April, right? Let's get started. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Days of the week. 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 There's Sunday and there's Monday. There's Tuesday and there's Wednesday. There's Thursday and there's Friday. And then there's Saturday. Days of the week. All right. Yesterday was Sunday. Today is Monday. And tomorrow will be Tuesday. Let's count. Whisper voices. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So today is Monday, April 20th. We need to do some flipping over here. Let's do that now. Sphere, sphere, cube, cone. Sphere, sphere, cube, cone. Sphere, sphere, cube, cone. And we got our cone here. So today is the 20th. Let's count Mr. Stanton style. We're going to count it like the Queen. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 10 and 1, 10 and 2, 10 and 3, 10 and 4, 10 and 5, 10 and 6, 10 and 7, 10 and 8, 10 and 9, 10 and 10. And that is Mr. Stanton counting all the way to 20, April 20th. All right, everybody. Let's do a real quick transition. You guys have been sitting for too long. Let's get up, do a little quick go noodle action. Here we go. There we go. That's what I want. Boom, chipper.
Come on, guys. Let's go to the city.
Get up, get up.
Yeah. Boom, chicka boom. This is a repeat after me song. This is a repeat after me song. I said a boom, chicka boom. 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 I said a boom, chicka rocka, chicka boom. I said a boom, chicka rocka, chicka boom. All right. One more time. Astronaut style. I said a zoom, chicka zoom. 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 I said a zoom, chicka rocka, chicka zoom. I said a zoom, chicka rocka, chicka zoom. All right. One more time. Style. I said a boom, chicka boom. 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 I said a boom, chicka rocka, chicka boom. I said a boom, chicka rocka, chicka boom. All right. One more time. Wedding style.
said a broom, chicka broom. I said a broom, chicka rocka, chicka rocka, chicka broom.
I said a groom, chicka rocka, chicka groom. Uh-huh. Alright.
One more time.
Motorcycle style. I said a broom, chicka broom. 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 I said a broom, chicka rocka, chicka broom. I said a broom, chicka rocka, chicka broom. Alright. One more time. Flower style. I said a bloom, chicka blue. 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 I said a bloom, chicka rocka, chicka blue. I said a bloom, chicka rocka, chicka blue. Alright. One more time. King Tut style. I said a toom, chicka toom. 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 I said a toom, chicka rocka, chicka toom. I said a toom, chicka rocka, chicka toom. Alright. No more time. We're done.
No more times. What?
Okay, bye.
What? We're done? We're done already? No, we're not ready. We're just getting started. It's my most favorite time of the day. It's the time when our hard work pays off. It's time for Daily 5, when we read more than everybody else so that our brains get huge. We're going to get started right away. We're going to stay in one spot. We're going to read the whole time. And when the timer goes off, we're going to come back and we are going to get right back to it. So right now, start right now. Go get a book. Go get 2, 3 book break. Find a whole book box. I want you to read for these full 8 minutes. All right, K3? Let's go to it. Go get a book. If you don't have books, hit the pause button, set a timer, get on Raz Kids. All right? Here we go. Starting the timer. Starting the timer. There we go. Timer is gone. Start reading, everybody. Good, good, good. Keep it up, K3. Keep it up. All right, K3, come on back. It's a wrap. Let's come on back. Let's come on back. Let's see how y'all doing. Check in with yourselves. Did you get started right away? You read the whole time. Did you stay in one spot? And you know you don't have to sit in front of your tablet to read. If you want to go somewhere else to read, go somewhere else to read. Just make sure that you're in a spot where you work well, okay? And come on back when we're done. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. You know what? We did not do our 100th song. We'll do the 100th song now, but we'll do the 100th dance because I do want you to get up and get moving. Reading for a while is going to take some time. So we're going to see if we can find a little 100th song, shall we? I think it's under here. There we go. Get on up, get on up. Let's count.
The 100 dance, 100 dance. Get on your feet, get on your feet. Wave your hands in the air, wave your hands in the air. Dance to the beat, dance to the beat. Wiggle to the right, wiggle to the right. Then wiggle to the left, wiggle to the left. 100 dance, 100 dance. Is it dance like the best. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20.
Get up and dance, don't sit down.
Get on your feet, get on your feet, with your hands in the air. Dance to the beat, dance to the beat. 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40. Wiggle to the right, and wiggle to the left. To 100 dance, 100 dance. If you dance like the best, dance like the best. 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60. The 100 dance. Get on your feet, get on your feet, wave your hands in the air, wave your hands in the air. Dance to the beat, dance to the beat. 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80. Wiggle to the right, and wiggle to the left. The 100 dance, 100 dance. Is a dancer like the best, dancer like the best. 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100. The 100 dance. Get on your feet, get on your feet, wave your hands in the air, wave your hands in the air. Dance to the beat, dance to the beat. Wiggle to the right, wiggle to the right, and wiggle to the left, wiggle to the left. 100 dance, 100 dance. He's a dancer like the best, dancer like the best. 100 dance, 100 dance. Get on your feet, get on your feet. 100 dance, 100 dance. He's a dancer like the best, dancer like the best.
Oh, glad you were up. I'm glad you were moving. I actually had to get up and get moving. I can't sit this long either. It is hard work to sit all day. I don't know how people do it. I got to get up and move, but I have a treat for you. I've waited a long time to introduce this next author, mostly because he's more of like a second, third grade type of author. There's a lot of big words and the stories kind of long, but when it comes to pictures, this author illustrator I think is my favorite. The first time I was read a story by this author was with my Aunt Stephanie, and she was a fourth grade teacher. She read it to me. I don't know, maybe I was in first grade, but you're gonna like it a lot. This book is called Hermit, the Hermit by Bill Peet. And if you will give me one moment, I'm going to change something up here. go. Get rid of that glare. Nice. That looks good. Kermit the Hermit, written and illustrated by Bill Pete. Now, I know that Kermit is a name, and a hermit is someone that lives all by themselves. So I'm already wondering why. Well, first of all, who is Kermit? Who do you think Kermit is? Let's make some predictions. Just looking at the front cover. Yeah, I think you're right. I think this crab here is Kermit. Now, why is he a hermit? Remember, a hermit is somebody that lives all by themselves. And if I look at him, Kermit does not look too happy, does he? But I also love the illustrations. Bill Pete's pictures are amazing. All right, here we go. Kermit the Hermit. Kermit the Hermit, written and illustrated by Bill Pete. There's some seagulls, and there's Kermit. In Monterey Bay, there's a jumble of rocks stacked up like a castle across from the dock. Here's a dock. The king of this castle, an old crab called Kermit, lived all by himself in a cave like a hermit. There was never a crab who was one half as selfish or 1/10 as mean as this crusty old shellfish. There's the word selfish. If you're selfish, you only think about yourself. So he's not a happy crab, a mean crab. What made Kermit greedy and grumpy that way was the shortage of food everywhere in the bay. For a crab must depend on what he can find, small scraps and tidbits of any old kind. To Kermit, each day meant a fight for survival, with every last seagull and crab as his rival. Your rival is somebody that you might fight with or somebody that you go against. So Kermit's got to fight for his food. He's got to fight the seagulls and the other crabs for his food. Unless it is cured, sometimes greediness grows. Where it finally stops, alas, nobody knows. And before long, very long, Kermit grabbed everything from a rusty padlock. Here's a rusty padlock. To a ball of kite string, a broken jackknife, an old pair of shoes, things that a crab couldn't possibly use. Here's his old jackknife, and he's grabbing shoes. It seems like he's just so greedy, just wants everything for himself, even things he can't use. Oh, wow, look at this. Look at all Kermit's stuff. And his cave was soon crammed without 1 inch to spare. There was just enough left for Kermit in there. Like any old miser, he wanted a lot. A miser is somebody that hoards things and they never spend any money and they never share anything. A miser. Or something or other. He didn't care what. And he'd have been greedy the rest of his days if an odd twist of fate hadn't changed Kermit's ways. Look at all the things he has in here. He's got some shoes. There's that knife. There's a wrench, a chain, an old pipe, a pocket watch that's broken, a harmonica, fishing reel, a fishing lure, a pin, a nail. What a bunch of stuff. This remarkable change in old Kermit began with an everyday thing. Just a battered tin can. There's a tin can. A pork and bean can that had been tossed away far in the sand dunes that bordered the bay. The crumpled tin lid caught the sun's bright reflection, which caused it to sparkle in every direction. And since the old miser had never been told, there's that word miser again. Remember, a miser is somebody who's grouchy and crabby and never shares anything. And since the old miser had never been told that bright things that glitter are not always gold, he supposed that it must be some valuable thing that someone had lost, a gold watch or a ring. Something that's valuable from here is worth a lot of money. Like a gold watch or a ring would be worth a lot of money. They'd be very valuable. So he crawled off the rocks and out onto the land. Then over the hill, he broad stretches of sand. And not until Kermit was next to his prize did he realize the trick had been played on his eyes. "Why, you phony tin faker, you," growled the old grump. "Rubble like you should be tossed in a dump." He is angry that he got fooled. He thought it was something worth a lot of money that was glittering, but it wasn't, was it? It was just an old tin can. Then just as he turned to start back to the bay, the crab spied a dog who was heading his way. The dog was exploring and trying out smells, sniffing at driftwood and empty clamshells. One sniff at the can told him what had been in it, so he turned to sniff at old Kermit a minute. In one grab, the crab gave the dog a sharp nip on his sensitive nose, and he let out a yip. "I'll teach you," he snapped, "to go sniffing at me." Then he turned himself round to head back for the sea. But the dog made a leap and seized the crab in his jaws by the back of the shell, beyond the reach of the claws. "Put me down," cried the crab. "Put me down, you big brute, or I'll give you another good pinch on the snoot," on your nose, your snoot. But the dog paid no heed to old Kermit's command. He set to work digging a hole in the sand. The crab guessed at once it was not just a cave. It was going straight down, so it must be a grave. A grave is where you're buried when you're dead. So the dog's going to bury him. The dog looks mad at him, right? "What a horrible end," said Kermit with a groan, "to be buried alive like a worthless old bone." I do like the way that Bill Pete also rhymes. Just then, as the dog dropped the crab in the hole, a boy happened by with a long fishing pole. "You old hound," he scolded, "what a mean thing to do. How would you like it if I buried you? You're too nice a dog to do something like that." Then he scooped up the crab in his tattered straw hat, trotted off down the beach to the edge of the sea, and flipped his hat. And flipping his hat, he set old Kermit free. Wow, the boy saved his life, huh? With a sigh of relief, the old crab went his way, on back to his castle of rocks in the bay. If it weren't for the boy, he just had to admit, there'd be no tomorrow. That would have been it. "I'll reward my young friend," said old Kermit. "That's what, with all my life savings, every last thing that I've got." But things like old shoes or a broken jackknife could never repay him for saving my life. The ideal reward would be a new bike. There's something I'm sure a small boy would like. Yet, how can a crab ever buy a bicycle without any money, not even a nickel? We one pondered the problem the whole afternoon, then far into the night by the light of the moon. But try as he might, alas and alack, he thought of no way he could pay the boy back. The next afternoon, as he crawled on the rocks, Kermit spotted the boy at the end of the docks. The very same boy. The old crab could tell that by the faded striped shirt and the tattered straw hat. He'd been lulled to sleep by the warm summer breeze, with his fishing pole propped on his patched trouser knees. I might help him catch a big fish, Kermit thought, if there's any big fish around here to be caught. That would help him, right? Of course, he must find the boy's baited hook. See, there's the bait, and there's the hook. And there's a lead weight to keep it down at the bottom. So he scrambled out into the bay for a look, and just a few yards from the pilings, he found it. This is a piling, part of the dock. It's kind of like the cylinder that holds the dock up. And just a few yards from the pilings, he found it, with a school of small minnows all swarming around it, lightly gripping the line just below the lead weight. Kermit tiptoed along gently, dragging the bait. If he happened to give the least little jerk, the boy would reel in, and his plan wouldn't work. Because he doesn't want the boy to know he's going to catch a crab. So Kermit kept on till he came to a ledge, where he stopped to peer cautiously over the edge. Then, reaching as far as he could with his claws, he lowered the bait toward a halibut's jaws. Look at the size of that fish! That is a big fish. Big halibut. The big fish took a look, and in one mighty scoop, both the worm and the hook disappeared in one goop. When he found he'd been hooked, he took off like a streak, and the line, which was really too flimsy and weak, suddenly snapped from the force of the shock. Somewhere behind Kermit, back near the dock. He was on his own now with no one to help, and off he went flying through tangles of kelp. Kelp is like seaweed. Up over the waves he went floppity flip, straight out of the bay on a wild foamy trip. Then somewhere far out in the broad rolling sea, the furious fish finally fought his way through. Way out in deep water, the crab couldn't crawl. About all he could do was to let himself fall. And Kermit went tumbling down in slow motion into the dark, gloomy depths of the ocean, to the soft, sandy floor where he lit with a plunk, near the place where an old pirate ship had been sunk. The huge hull had been smashed, all the sails ripped and tattered, and in every direction the cargo was scattered. Whoa, that is crazy. Look, there's barrels, chests, there's a cannon from the pirate ship. Here's the anchor. Look at the mast. This is the mast. Had 3 masts, but this mast broke, and then the sails, right? Cool. Pirate ship. That's pretty awesome. Uh-oh. Oh. I don't even know if I want to read the rest. Oh, actually, you know what, K3? Yeah, about that. We're gonna have to take a break here. We're gonna finish the book tomorrow. Okay, everybody? You'll have to find out what happens to Kermit later on. Man, I hope he's okay. Story's not over. We're gonna finish the rest tomorrow. Okay, everybody? Let us get up and get some wiggles out. That was a great story. I do love Bill Pete. Yeah, let's do a little Go Noodle, shall we? Yeah, I think we shall. Yeah, banana meatball. Stand on up for banana meatball.
Banana meatball. Yeah. Turn it up. Nerdy by nature. Turn it up. Patterns in the air, patterns everywhere. Patterns made of shapes, patterns made of grapes. Patterns on the cheetah, patterns on my feeder. Patterns in the nap, patterns in this rap. Oh, that's right. Make a pattern, let's make a pattern. All right, cool. Make a pattern, let's make a pattern. Okay, here's one. Banana meatball. Banana meatball. Banana meatball. Banana meatball. Banana meatball. Banana meatball. You got it. Turn it up now. Make a pattern, let's make a pattern. All right. Make a pattern, let's make a pattern. Okay, here's one. Nod, clap, shake your hips. 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 Bring it back. Make a pattern, let's make a pattern. All right. Make a pattern, let's make a pattern. Okay, here's one. Loud, quiet. Loud, quiet. Loud, quiet. Loud, quiet. Loud, quiet. Loud, quiet. Patterns when I walk, patterns when I talk, patterns in my brain, patterns down the drain, patterns on my nail, patterns on the snail, patterns on the walls going straight into my eyeballs. Flags and zigzags, stripes and spots, spirals, tiles, tater tots. Everywhere I look, these patterns emerge, and then I start to get this funny urge to make a pattern. Make a pattern, let's make a pattern. All right, make a pattern, make a pattern, let's make a pattern. Okay, last one. Elbow, stomach, stomach, elbow, 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 elbow, stomach, stomach, elbow. Patterns in the air, patterns everywhere, patterns made of shapes, patterns made of breaks, patterns on the cheetah, patterns on my feet, patterns in the nap, patterns in this rag. One more time. Yeah, make a pattern, let's make a pattern. All right, make a pattern, let's make a pattern.
I'm like totally obsessed with patterns.
Oh, yeah. My name is actually Pattern. Anywhere you look, you can see a pattern and pointing right out. Just gotta be paying attention. Want to go full Go Noodle? Then click here and create a free account. We've got hours and hours and hours and hours.
All right, where are we? All right, there we are. K3, very good, very good, very good. Got done with read self, we got done with listen to reading. What we're going to focus on today at Right to Self is really getting our ideas. We've been working on personal narratives for, about a week. Last week we started, and I really want us to zoom in on one tiny moment. I don't want to hear about everything. I want us to zoom in on one tiny moment. And you know what I do like? Every time I read a story, it gives me ideas that I can use to write about. So when I'm thinking about the Hermit, I already got some ideas here. Like, I could write about the time that we, and by we I mean Tucker, Sophia, and I, we went camping by the beach. So this reminds me of going to the beach because we saw like crabs and the rocks by the ocean. We went, let me fix that, camping by the beach. And we found like seashells and we could see the crabs in the water. That was really cool. What else? Oh, you know what I also like here? I love the underwater pictures. That reminds us, see how Bill Pete does this beautiful coloring of the water. And there's, I think one time I went swimming in the ocean, so that could be something really fun. I went snorkeling. That's where you kind of have like a tube that you breathe out. So that would be fun. Snorkeling. Snorkeling in the water. Oh, and also, that's another great idea. I could write about the first time that Sophia went fishing, right? That would be a fun story. I can tell you about the time Sophia caught a fish. So I'm going to write maybe, let's see, catch a fish, write about catching a fish. Right now, I'm just getting my ideas. Writers need to think about their ideas before they choose something. Catching a fish. Oh, and then you know what? How could I forget? Digging in the sand, right? Or that time I thought I found something that was worth a lot of money and was valuable, but it wasn't. Yeah, I actually have finding a treasure I did find the treasure once. I actually have it right here. I'll show you. I could write about the time that I found this. This is a bullet from the Civil War. And that's a war that happened. One of the battles was fought near my house where I grew up. And I found this with a metal detector. So that was kind of like a treasure that I found when I was 13 years old. So I could write about catching a fish, digging in the sand, finding a bullet. Oh, and this bullet was buried underground because the war had happened over 100. It's over 150 years ago now. So I had to dig that out of the dirt, finding a buried. I'm gonna call it a buried treasure. So I have a bunch of small ideas, things that happened to me that I think would make good stories. You could use some of these ideas. Maybe you went camping, maybe you took a trip to the beach, maybe you've been in the water, maybe you went fishing, maybe you found something that you had lost. Ooh, that would be a good story. You lose something and you find it again. Maybe you went digging in the sand. So I think right now, if you have any other ideas, I'd like you to make a note of them on a piece of paper. You could just draw a picture, or you could go and tell somebody. Tell somebody, you know what, today I'm gonna write about. All right? I'd like you to pause it right here, press pause, and we will start give you a little time just to get your ideas down, okay? So right here and right here. Press that pause button, everybody, and I want you to go and write down or draw a picture of a couple ideas that actually, you don't even have to draw a picture. Go tell somebody what you want to write about, okay? Just go tell them. That's all I want you to do right now. Awesome, awesome, awesome. All right, K3, let's flip it back up to moi. I'm upside down. There we go. Looking good. All right, K3, we're going to do a little, we haven't signed 10 apples up on top of that. Let's do that.
Do 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 do. One apple up on top, two apples up on top. Look, I can do it too. Look, see, I can do three. You can do three. I can do more. You have three. I have four. Look, see now, I can hop with four apples up on top. I can hop up on a tree with four apples up on me. Look here, you two. See here, you two. I can get five on top, can you? I am so good, I will not stop. Five, now six, now seven on top. Seven apples up on top. I am so good, they will not try. Yeah, 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 yeah. 5, 6, 7, fun, fun, fun. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. But see, we are as good as you. Look now, we have 7 too. And now see here, 8 on top. 8 apples up, not one will drop. But I can do 9 and hop and drink. You cannot do this, I think.
Yeah.
9 is very good, but then come on and we will make it 10. Look, 10 apples up on top. We are not going to let them drop. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Woohoo. All right, K3, moving on. Let's transition into a little math. We've been working on subtraction. We're going to work on subtraction word problems today. Problem solving. We're going to write a number sentence to solve these problems, okay? Let me flip it upside down. There we go. Let's see. Get that in focus. There we go. Looking good. Okay. A little bit. Yeah, let's turn it up. That looks almost. There we go. All right. So first thing I'm going to do, let's get to page 415 down here. That's chapter 6, lesson 6. It's the green one, problem solving. Okay. Now I'm going to write my name. And I'll give you guys a little bit of time to find it. Okay. While you're finding this page, getting your work ready, let's read problem solving, strategy, write a number sentence. And we've been doing this since the 3rd week of school. We've been writing number sentences. Here's our number sentence. Lesson 6, it's our number sentence. Lesson 6, essential question. How can I use objects to subtract? And here it says, how many are left? Look at those words, are left. Whenever you see are left, you're already thinking subtraction. How many are left over? Down here it says teacher directions. It says use counters to model the subtraction story. There are 10 suitcases on the truck. 3 suitcases are moved to the ground. Trace the number sentence to show how many suitcases are left on the truck. So I'm going to start off with my suitcases. There are 10 suitcases on the truck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So there are my 10 suitcases. They're all on the truck. Got my 10 frame. And 3 suitcases are moved to the ground. 1 is moved to the ground, 2 is moved to the ground, 3 are moved to the ground. We took these 3 away. How many are left? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I know that since there were 10, and I took 3 away, I'm going to use my minus sign. I took 3 away. How many are left? Equals 10 minus 3 equals 7. Okay? Let's do the next one together. All right? Because remember, our focus today is writing a number sentence. All right. It says right here on the next page, how many are left? It says, use counters to model the subtraction story. My aunt has 8 quilt squares. Oh, okay, I see them. Here's a quilt, like our Q word, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. She sews 6 squares. So she sews 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. How many squares? Write a number sentence to show how many squares are left. So there were 8. We took away 6 because she already sewed those. How many are left? 8 minus 6 equals 2. And it might even be easier to see that without the counters, right? There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 squares. She sewed 6. How many are left? 2. All right, let's do this one. Let's write a number sentence on this page, and then I'm going to let you do the rest for homework. Okay? How many are left? Love it. There were 9 toys. All right. Here are my 9 toys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. So if I know there are 9 toys, 4 are put on the shelf, so they're getting taken away. Write a number sentence to show how many toys are left to put on the shelf. So there are 9 altogether. 4 were taken away and put on the shelf. 9 minus 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So these 4 got put on the shelf. How many are left to put on the shelf? 9 minus 4 equals 5. Good. You're going to do page 418, 419, and 420 for homework. Looking good. K3, thank you. I hope you, too bright for me, too bright. There we go, much better. K3, awesome job. Great Monday. I hope to see everybody in our Zoom meetings, 9 o'clock. Have a wonderful day, everybody.